Alright, be like that. Alright. Here we go. From the WCS Leipzig Round 4 semifinals, we have the German Protoss player, probably the best Protoss outside of Korea, outside of Neeb. That's a weird introduction. Showtime. And, of course, the American hero Neeb. Now I'm watching this because I don't know how to play PvP right now. Past this, after these games were played, the Stalker was slightly nerfed and the Disruptor was changed. But at my level of play, it's more about the openers and what they decide to do. It's not really about whether they decide, well, unless it's just blink Stalkers back and forth every game, in which case it'll be like, well, this was not very helpful. This is not helping. We got 2 in each gas here. Looks like Showtime going for 3 total. A little bit more mineral heavy. Neeb, on the other hand, wants a little bit more gas early on. And yes, these details matter. Apparently, we're going to drop more frames than usual tonight. There you go. Alright. This interruption to your regularly scheduled programming brought to you by Comcast. A second pylon on the low ground for Neeb. A second pylon is on the high ground for Showtime. And it looks like it's just the double gate wall style, not putting a pylon as part of the wall. PvP, honestly, right now, I think in almost every matchup, maybe not really PvT, but in PvP and PvZ, we're seeing a lot of Stargate play, a lot more against Zerg than against Protoss, but it's still one of the prevailing strategies, though no adepts early on here. Part of that might be because the rush distance is relatively long. There's a ramp here on the high ground. Adepts getting in isn't very likely. We'll have to see, though. I'm interested, are we going to have a Stargate opener? Oh, and going for the block is Showtime. On the other side, Neeb going to be driven away by a Sentry, which builds very slightly faster than a Stalker. It's like a 4-second difference. Oh my god, here we go. And the Stargates. We got a Stargate in the main for Showtime, and the same thing for Neeb. Almost at within 1 second of one another, they're going for the Stargates. Within 3 seconds, the Nexus. The only difference so far is that Showtime has opted for a Sentry early, whereas Neeb has gone for the Stalkers. Now, Neeb, it feels safe moving his Stalkers around. He doesn't feel like Adepts are going to shade by, or Stalkers are going to move up, because he saw the first Sentry. The Probe actually was tickled by that Sentry on its way out of the base, which means he knows there's no imminent danger of units just walking across the map. Otherwise, it'd be a little bit more risky to be out on the map with those Stalkers. Now, both players are chrono boosting out their Phoenixes, and apparently, this is how we're doing it. This is the plan. We're just making Phoenixes. Alright. Is that a pylon out there for Neeb? Now, is this pylon for actually warping in units? Or is it for scouting things like Phoenixes? It's kind of hard to tell. There's a hallucin... Oh, I love this. Now it all... Okay, I love that. So, Showtime confirmed his opponent that Neeb more than likely wants to expand. So this is why the Sentry comes into play. The Sentry just got Showtime this critical information. He now knows for a fact that Neeb is going for Phoenixes, whereas Neeb doesn't know whether Showtime is going for Phoenixes. So that means right now Neeb is in the dark, and Showtime can maybe double down, get another Stargate or something like that, and know that he's going the right direction. Where Neeb, he's not 100% sure that his opponent isn't going for some sort of big 2-base gate attack or something like that. Because the problem with Phoenix versus Phoenix is that if you move across the map with your Phoenixes and they are also going Phoenixes, they will have built an additional Phoenix in time and you will just lose. So Neeb can't really scout with his Phoenixes without risking losing the game. So there's really no easy way to scout without that hallucination. So I like that move out of Showtime. The probe comes up, sees there are Stalkers, which tells him almost nothing. So Neeb, he has to make a robo. It could be DTs. If you're going mass Phoenix, yeah, this is risky here. Neeb wants to get close enough. He has to get close enough to scout. He needs to know. Are you going for the Phoenixes or not? But he has to pull back before he gets jumped by the Phoenixes of his opponent. If he actually gets targeted, the Phoenixes can chase him across the map. He's just getting close enough. He sees him, backs off. That's risky business, but it's gonna pan out. And Showtime won't be able to get the chase. But he needed to do that. Will he complete the robo? It looks like yes. Might as well have it. But Showtime going to be able to get the second Stargate earlier, and that means he's going to be able to take air control. Will Neeb switch up? He's still building a Phoenix here. Oh my god. The beautiful Phoenix mating dance. Of course, for those who don't know, Phoenix are part of a hive mind. They all move together and shoot together and live in family units, usually 5 to 10 strong. And here we see the ritual mating dance celebrating another Phoenix being built from the Stargate. This could go on indefinitely. On the other side, it looks like Showtime's Phoenixes not as excited. Obviously, a Phoenix hasn't come out of the Stargate yet, so it's not time for the ritual dance. Oh, is it time to celebrate as another Phoenix is on the way? A much more serious tone. Oh, there we go. Okay. Just a high five, maybe a chest bump. That's about it. A hallucinated Phoenix. As Neeb's starting to realize there's a warp prism on the way. So Neeb trying to leverage just a few extra units, but it's so risky. Oh, wait a second. Some Stalkers on either side. What's the Phoenix count? It's 8 to 8. But some Stalker damage coming out from Neeb. That means he's getting the jump on Showtime's Phoenix as he chases them back across the field. Ooh. And he comes out with one on top. Neeb is down by 8 probes, though. No more shield batteries on the way. There are a few Stalkers. 6 Stalkers being warped in for Neeb. This is a deadly force. Now, you can't really lift up units or you run the risk of just being targeted down by your opponent's Phoenixes. So it's still a dicey maneuver. There's 1 shield battery to try to even the odds here. Neeb has a larger army, but Showtime has the economy, and he'll win the war of attrition. Another Phoenix comes up. If he wins the war in the air, he can start pulling probes off the line. Does he go for the warp prism or for the lifts? He gets the lifts off. Are there enough Stalkers? The probes are off the line. Everything is up in the air right now. We're not entirely sure who's going to come out on top, but Showtime is losing probes. More lifts coming out. He still has the Phoenixes. Are there enough to target down the Stalkers? The gateway count is 6 to 2. Showtime bleeding off probes. The probe count is even. The Phoenixes are still in the sky. It looks like this fight is starting to even out. The warp prism was not killed, but several probes were. Now here's the problem. Showtime has a third, and Showtime still has Phoenixes. They're out of energy. If Neeb had another wave of warp-ins there before that ended, he might have been able to break them. Because these Phoenixes are no longer really that useful in the fight. Oh. 1 Phoenix. Taken out. The Observer going to get a scout of this. But if Neeb ever lets up, if he ever releases some of the pressure, what's going to happen is Showtime's going to go across the map and just kill all his probes. The Stalkers don't do enough damage to kill the Phoenixes before they'll kill all his probes. So Neeb has to be aggressive, because right now, the best defense is a good offense. He's taking a third. A Twilight Council is on the way. He's warping in every possible unit, because if he doesn't have enough, if too many Stalkers get lifted, he just loses the fight on the ground. Neeb backing off. This is giving space to Showtime, but he is tacking up at the same time. Showtime opting for the Immortals. But if you give any space to these Phoenixes, it's going to get really rough really quick. Neeb's already down in probes, only by a handful. But that can change. There are 5 or 6 lifts. There are a lot of lifts on these Phoenixes. He stopped building Phoenixes, by the way, as he realizes Neeb committed to the ground army. He don't want to keep building, because eventually the ground army will be too strong. There's Blink. But already an Immortal. Showtime definitely putting together a higher quality army here. Neeb just still going for Stalkers with Blink. I mean, he still has to deal with the Phoenixes. Whoop, almost gets one. But Showtime is just building up a stronger army with a better base. Once again, Neeb it's a timing attack, essentially. He hasn't been building Immortals. He doesn't have any upgrades. I don't believe he even has a Forge. There's no Templar Archives, no Dark Shrine. There's just Stalkers. That's it. It's gonna have to be some incredible Blink Stalker micro. More gates are coming up. If Charge finishes for Showtime, no amount of Blink Stalker micro is gonna be able to deal with that many charge lots. He's gonna have so many gates, he has the economy. If charge lots are there to tank, Neeb isn't gonna break through. Now, Blink is almost done. There is an observer. It's going to scout this. Showtime, on paper, a much better army. A round of 8 Adepts. Neeb looking for something to tank and also potentially deal with Zealots. I like that choice. Also, maybe catch the army out of position. Maybe. The Adepts will shade by. If Showtime commits too much to one angle... Oh, there we go. Oh, he's going to go right on top of him? Does he blink forward? The Adepts are kind of eating the brunt of this. Neeb's army is segmented off. He blinks over to the side, but the Adepts are already gone. A lot of the Phoenixes are going to go down, but the Immortals stand strong. Charge is finishing. Neeb is down 20 supply, but there is no retreat. He's down in probes. He's down in tech. He's down in production. He only has this. And that's... Archon's coming up. Charge is about to finish. +1 isn't too far away. Showtime even has scouting where the Stalkers are going. Are there sentries in there? He wants to force field off the main. The last potential play. Does he get there in time? The Blink Stalkers are coming up. No force fields make it. He tries to save some. It's not going to be enough, but the Adepts are killing probes. That gives some hope here. The Archon comes around. Oh, that Warp Prism is the lifeline. GG. There's not enough. He couldn't break through. So what we learned from that is that you go Phoenixes. All right, that's what I got out of that one. Just keep going Phoenixes. That's about it. You gotta win the Phoenix War. That's really what it boils. If you have Phoenix control, you have control of the game. Neeb almost broke through, but. Alright, game 2 on Acid Plant. Acid Plant, quite a large map with a long ground pathing. Kind of an annoying pathing until you get used to it. You mean get a sentry to scout? Well, the sentry to scout actually was a big part of that. I forgot about that. But I really like the risk with the sentry, though, is if they do an aggressive stalker push. Like if they do a 3-gate stalker push, and they just have like 6 stalkers. I'm 3-gate as in they proxy 1 gate and they do a 1 base. If they do that, then
Your dedication
I mean,
will be rewarded.
As long as you play defensive and you scout well, it's not too bad. Thank you, Zoops. And Flying Boopity for the subs. And welcome back. A probe scout going out after the 2nd gate for both players. Almost identical. It's a mirror matchup. If we see them both go Phoenixes every game, I'm going to be so... Well, if that's how we're doing it, that's how we're doing it. Neeb this time will build a 2nd pylon in his main, so will Showtime. Neither player committing it to the low... Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Well, that probe is not in his main. Now, Showtime has shown a 2nd pylon in his main base. Neeb has... He has scouted it. Keeping track of pylons is an important part of PvP, especially. But just in general, like if Showtime didn't have a 2nd pylon in his base, well, it's somewhere else. So he's given Neeb the information that he wants him to have. And he's going for 2 Stalkers this time, but he's also adding on a 2nd pylon. This is essentially a decoy here. It's going to be a proxy Stargate. He can still expand, but this pylon was a decoy. It's trying to convince Neeb there's not any reason to worry. I'm going to expand. I'm making Stalkers. Don't worry about it. Neeb is going to expand the Proxy Stargate. Now here's the question. With this, do you go for an Oracle and try to get in before a Phoenix of your opponent? And it's double Stargate, one on each side. But do you go for an Oracle? Or do you go just straight into Phoenixes? It looks like it's going to be an Oracle. You don't rally into the enemy base. Well, he could also camp that, no, it's going to be an Oracle. Showtime finishes up his Stargate. Neeb just scouted that there is no expansion. Is it time for a shield battery? He's making 2 more Stalkers. There we go. He knows. He knows. I mean, there's a chance of a Proxy Robo. There's a chance of a Twilight. But the most likely option, this. So, Neeb went... If Showtime had pushed a little bit further out with his Stalkers and not allowed Neeb to see the lack of expansion, I think this would have been really good. Is he going to scout it? He's not going to see it, but the Phoenix is almost done. The shield battery is almost done. Perfectly on time. That means this Oracle should do little to no damage. He can kill probes, but oh my god, shield battery. He got one. He got 1 probe for his Proxy, and now this is the gamble. This is the problem. When you go for that, he can just... Now, Neeb unequivocally has the Phoenix lead. There's no way Showtime can catch up in that. So now Neeb has the control that Showtime had last game, but he has it even more dramatically. Because Showtime can't even start. Neeb has won the war before it started. He's taken air superiority, which means he has full control of the game, and pretty much Showtime is... This is Neeb's world now, and Showtime's just playing in it. It's gonna be blank, which is the only real choice to deal with someone who has that air control without losing most of your probes. There's not a big worker lead, it's just... If Showtime moves out of his base, he's essentially all in, because at any time the Phoenixes can come pick up 5-6 probes and put him at a massive deficit. This pylon going to be taken out, removing the risk of any warp-ins, and of course, rebuilding any Stargate units. But this is really awkward as a Protoss. Showtime is not happy with this. I can tell you that. This is not a position you want to be. He's pretty much relying on Neeb not sufficiently preparing defenses at the correct time. The problem is Neeb's already in his face, he's already in his base, and he knows what's happening. He saw the Twilight, he saw the Stalkers. He knows that a blank Stalker push essentially is coming. So he's actually trading Phoenixes for kills here. Like, you have Stalkers? LOL. Look how much I care. He's got 7 kills now. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, 7 kills. And there were 4 Stalkers there. He lost 1 Phoenix for 7 probes. And they come again. Oh, God. They never stop. Showtime going for a 3rd. Gonna go for... The one thing Neeb won't have is a huge ground army. So I guess he's gonna try to play for the long game. He's now realizing there's no way I can do some sort of all-in. Neeb will not fall to that. Trying to play for the long game, but he's down 10 probes and he hasn't even killed the Phoenixes. So, Neeb has stopped building Phoenixes, is now more focused on a ground army. Should see a Twilight in a moment here as well. There you go. Added on. But now, it looks like Showtime gonna go for a big Adept play. Trying to find a timing, because once again, Neeb will just continue bleeding out probes. Showtime can't really afford to mine more gas. Has he even built? Yeah, he's been building probes. To an extent. +1 Adepts with Glaives is the choice. And against someone... Immortals aren't particularly good against Glaved Adepts. Stalkers are okay, but they're expensive as well. There's maybe a small timing, especially before Archons. The Templar Archives have started. But before Archons, that Showtime might have a dream. But I'm not... I'm not trying to make it sound... It could go either way. No, this is Neeb's game to lose. It has been since the Stargate. I don't know why Showtime's going back for this with all of his units. If he shows him the Adepts, that's such a giveaway. I don't know why he came back with the Adepts. A little bit of a mistake out of Showtime's part. I think Neeb's starting to realize there's no gases at this base. He's killed so many probes. He just needs to play defense. Are there any Archons? Some pylons at the front. He wants to build shield batteries, but here comes Showtime. This is going to be... This next Warpin is the closest he's going to get in supply. Oh, an Archon is on the way. That can make all the difference. The Phoenixes come back. He knows Showtime is damaged critically. He has no economy. The Glaive Adept shade in. The Archon finishes a second before it needs to. That's still a lot of Adepts. One Archon isn't going to cut it. If he can kill this base without losing most of his units... Oh, the Phoenixes can kill the War Prism. Does he shade on top? Good force fields. Showtime with a little bit of indecision. A big round of Adepts, but Neeb is warping in charge lots as well. If he gets... Oh, he targets down the Archon. The Glaive Adept trying to get on top of these units that can't really kill him so quickly. The Phoenix is trying to make a beeline for the War Prism. The shade is canceled. The +1 really kicking in, but it looks like Neeb might just have enough. The Immortals don't die very quick. They don't do a lot of damage to the Adepts, but they don't die very quickly. The one lone shade is hunted down. It looks like the numbers are just not enough in Showtime's favor. It did surprisingly well. Oh, good force fields. Isolates the Immortal, but Showtime has 35 probes. He has no Templar attack. Even if he kills, even if the armies trade out, Neeb just rebuilds bigger, better, and stronger. And faster. Also that. So Neeb takes it back, but that was Showtime's decision to go for the proxy, and it didn't pan out. So. Well, I mean, we're getting the idea here for PvP. Here we go again, game number 3. Yeah, Phoenix rule the skies and the ground. Whoever has more whoever, when it shakes out, has more Phoenixes has won both these games. What would you have done in Showtime's position in that last game? I mean, I can't think of doing anything differently. In fact, I probably would have just tried the Blink Stalker timing. Or maybe try to go for, like, Archon Charge Lot. But the thing is, if I went Archon Charge Lot and I didn't have enough Stalkers early, then Neeb would have scouted with his Phoenix and just had enough units to defend. So I actually like Showtime's kind of hidden Glaive Adept with a third base. He did a pretty okay job of hiding what he was doing. It's hard to hide information against someone who can fly through your bases at ridiculous speeds through the air. But Showtime actually managed to hide it, and if he was able to hit with that same army 30 seconds quicker, could have won. But I actually would have done... I would have liked to do what he did. I probably would have gone for just like Blink Stalker or Archon Charge Lot. But and now this time, interestingly, Showtime not going for a probe scout. Neeb Neeb is. And on the detour, took a little rest stop to throw down a pylon, and then we'll continue about his business. Gets into the base. Showtime. These players are even at the level where they'll count the probes as well. What are we going to see? There's no scout at all from Showtime. Is this... I mean, Neeb hasn't made a second pylon in his base. If Showtime had scouted, he would have seen that. But he didn't. Oh, Showtime makes a shield battery to trap the probe in so that Neeb can't get out of his base. Oh! Oh, what a guy. And now the Stalkers will finish, kill the probe, he could cancel the battery. But at the same time, Showtime looking for a proxy. But in the most random location, Neeb has built a pylon right off the edge of the beaten path. Just like 20 feet off the highway. In fact, I think the Stalkers might see it if they just walk down here. But he's hiding in the bushes. Oh my god, Showtime doesn't see it. The reason this is such a good spot for a pylon is because it's such a bad spot for a pylon. We're at the level, like, Showtime has scouted all of the good pylon spots now. He's not gonna scout, like, off to the side of the main center path. And that's why this is such a play. Showtime is sneaking around the side. The fact that there weren't Stalkers here is making Neeb nervous. Another pylon on the other side, but Showtime has committed to the expansion. The probe gets in. It's gonna see it's 3 gates versus 3 gates. Showtime swinging around. Neeb Stalker's not quite in position, but Neeb has 2 more Stalkers now. He forces him back. The pylon on the other side. It's gonna be 3 gates versus 3 gates. Showtime losing a Stalker. What? Now the thing is, Showtime doesn't know this is 3 gates. He has to make a shield battery because this could be a Stargate. If he had scouted the pylon, he wouldn't have to make that shield battery, and then he would have 100 more minerals. But because this is the only place, this little area is the only place Showtime has not scouted on the map. So Neeb's going to be coming up with 11 to 7 Stalkers. There is 1 sentry without enough energy for Guardian Shield. Is there another warp in for Showtime? He builds a robo. Oh no, that's not good. He doesn't have a battery at the front. That might have turned the tides. He doesn't have a Guardian Shield. He's losing Stalkers in droves. He's going to lose this base. He may be able to hold the high ground. I don't know what he's trying to come down to do. Probes are getting targeted down. Showtime has a few more probes in the grand scheme of things. Wow, Guardian Shield, he's going to try to turn the tides with that. Both players making a robo right now. The numbers aren't here. The Guardian Shield needs to be part of this. Showtime just has less Stalkers. In comes Neeb with more. Just, I don't, what year is it? This looks like a 2010 game, is what it does. Well, nobody tried to expand in 2010. So 2011, when people tried to expand and then got attacked by people who didn't expand and died. Yeah, there you go. But now, Showtime is contained on his 1 base. He's lost a lot, but the thing is, he has these sentries. Oh, Neeb. I'm surprised Neeb tried that, but he's going to get 1 Stalker for his efforts. Of course, Neeb's going to lose a couple. Is there enough for another force field? There isn't for a few seconds. Neeb knows that. Still dangerous. He's not 100% sure. 4 Adepts. This is just a straight-up 4-gate. Oh my god. There is a robo, but he's coming down the ramp. There are no Stalkers to hold. The Shades. Force field doesn't block Shade. He's throwing it through. The Stalker's targeting down. He's trying to body block. He can target the sentries. He does. They all fall. This could be the ball game. Zealots won't save you now. 1 Immortal Mind. Despite this, Showtime is still going up this high ground is very difficult. Neeb has resigned himself to the contain. The sentries indicate he just wants to keep Showtime from getting out, but unfortunately for him, Showtime has already built a pylon out on the map. But Neeb will see this. And warp in, counter Adepts. He has a pylon in position. The Observer looking for exactly this. There's a Warp Prism on the way, the obvious choice for Showtime, but he has to make it. Showtime does not know these Adepts are here. Oh, the Shade was thrown. But he's just trying to bait him in. He's hiding from the vision. The Adepts come in. They can target down probes, but there's a shield battery. Unfortunately, you can't repair if they die immediately. Oh, but now the shield battery will stop this. We do have the Warp Prisms. He's trying to bring the Immortals out. The Shades, will he try to go for the Sentry Snipe? I don't know about this call. I don't know, Kev. The Force Field whiffs! Oh, beautiful micro on the Prism, though. Brings everybody down. Showtime's actually ahead in supply. Neeb almost has his Nexus done. Is Showtime going to expand behind? It looks like yes. He's got Immortals. He's got the power units here. Now, does Showtime find the Proxy? Oh my god. Oh my god. This... Oh! He sees the gate. If this gate was a little bit closer to the pylon, he wouldn't have seen it at all. It was almost perfect. And then Neeb would have an option for counterattack, but... Hallucination. Both players starting to mine out of the main. Neeb actually a little bit slower because he didn't have as many probes. There's a War Prism. Neeb knows it. Several Stalkers will remain in the main. 2 Adepts can target down probes. Neeb only up by 1. The War Prism is the immediate target. More units are coming back. He's committing everything back. I'm surprised at that. But he does have an Observer. He does have an Observer. So, Neeb has a bit of a lead. Wait, no he doesn't. I guess his lead is in the 9 Stalkers to 2. That is the only real lead, and a lot of sentries on either side, because these are armies that can be force field. Usually, a lot of PvP, you don't get, like, you have Adepts and Phoenixes, things like that, or Blank Stalkers. Force fields aren't nearly as effective. But when you're talking about just basic gateway units and Immortals, well, force fields gain a lot of value. Does Neeb have a Prism? Both players even. Oh, there we go. Well, that answers my question, doesn't it? Is he actually going to do an... Well, he knows it's very unlikely that Showtime has any sort of real anti-air. Like, you don't go into Stargate. Actually, he doesn't know it's unlikely. He knows he doesn't because he's been sending hallucinated Phoenixes and seeing that the army consists of mostly sentries and Immortals. If he can just... Well, a snipe on the Robo would be amazing, but just going to get the pylons and interrupt... Oh, goes for the probes as well. Might be able to get 1 pylon, which almost supply blocks here. Blasts away a Stalker, that pickup range. But there's no real risk to this. Neeb will just continue to compound. He's actually... Neeb has stopped building probes. He hasn't built probes since 31. He's just been building units, which means his army supply is significantly larger. There are no shield batteries at the front. Neeb has snuck around the side. The Stalker may see some of this. There's 1 Zealot. No shield battery. The force fields will hold for a time. But that's a lot of army supply. There are sentries on either side. This is going to get... That's a lot of Adepts. The force field's not going to be very valuable when the Adepts are on top of the sentries. They're already in the thick of it. Guardian Shield. The Immortals over the top. Stalkers as well. Neeb bringing them over the bridge. And all the way home to the Promised Land. And that'll be 2-1 for Neeb. Just deciding. He went from the 4 gate into the continued 4 gate. Thank you, Elite Black Mage, for the sub. Welcome back, 3 months. I just don't enjoy. Alright, here we go again. So that game, Catalyst, I don't know why Catalyst is quite a catalyst for a lot of cheesy Protoss strats. Like, you see a lot of random pylons and gateways on that map in particular. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, it's a bit of a smaller map, but that doesn't always matter much. So, I guess just the size of the map factors in. You can use those early units to get some momentum. I guess that's a good point. It has no watchtowers. I didn't even think about that. Neon Violet Square is small and is not small, though, and has no watchtowers. I didn't even think about the watchtowers. That's a good point. Not that watchtowers really factor into most maps, but that's part of it. Actually, a lot of maps... Do we have any maps that have a watchtower? We used to. It was the lazy man's tactic. Just have watchtowers in key locations on, like, every map. But now that I think about it, and I think everybody's kind of decided just having watchtowers is lazy in the first place, I'm trying to think of a map right now that has watchtowers in key locations. And I'm talking, like, direct rush paths. Great. Great. That's good shit. It's pretty bad tonight. I might restart. It is pretty bad tonight. Some nights, like last night, it wasn't bad at all. Tonight, it's pretty bad. I did pause. And Showtime going for the Stalker Sentry. The more I think about it, the more I like the Stalker Sentry. And it looks like Neeb has decided he likes it too. Neeb going for the Stalker Sentry as well. Showtime just chilling with his probe. Showtime intentionally not showing the sentry here to Neeb's probe. I'm not sure if the probe saw it. I wasn't really paying attention. I just, I mixed up the colors there for a second. But if you can hide the sentry and leave that little bit of information, and, okay, I feel like that's a consensus right there. We're either doing a one base all in, or we go for a Stargate. That's it. Those are the options. So... And it looks like we're going into the Phoenix War once again. This is how we're playing. Now both players are going to have access. Showtime has opted for 2 Adepts. If these Adepts actually get in, these are delayed Adepts too. His second round of units were Adepts. Neeb hasn't actually put a probe in position to potentially block. He will have some vision. He's rallying down probes past 16. There's a hallucinated Phoenix on the way across. Ooh, I like the hallucinated Oracle as well. Will there be a block in time? Neeb, 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 Neeb. Oh, he's fine. He's actually gonna shut this down with. Well, it's gonna get a little annoying here. Neeb gonna lose more probes than he needed to. No, Neeb picks up his own probe. Oh. A bit of mining time lost there. Neeb actually down 3 probes. Seems to have been a little distracted by that. Also, he lost how many in there? 2. He lost 2. Lost some mining time. So, and had to use a lift. What a noob. Alright, what a misclick. What a disaster. I mean, things like getting a couple probes behind can spiral. It's a mirror matchup. Well, now we have to see. Does either player... Neeb is a little bit ahead on the Phoenix count, partially because Showtime is going for a Robo. But he's later on his second gases. So, and that's partially... It looks like Showtime has been chrono boosting, instead of his Stargate, his probes, which has given him a bit of a lead here. 6 probes, and is getting a second Stargate. It feels like Neeb is just a bit behind, by every measure, essentially. He's on no Robo, no second Stargate. Second gases are later. Oh, Neeb saw it. Neeb saw the second star, right? Yes. Okay, he saw the Robo. He knows he needs to go, or he needs to do something, because you can't just let your opponent have 2 Stargates. Neeb's Gambit. He's going for the Phoenix range first. Now, Showtime will have more Phoenixes because he has 2 Stargates. But if Neeb plays perfectly, very technically, his Phoenixes will be untouchable because the Phoenixes will have 2 more range than their opponents, and they can kite them all day. If Neeb has perfect micro, Oh, he's specifically trying to block hallucinations here, but there is an observer about to come in. If Neeb has perfect micro... Oh, the Phoenix mating dance begins. And he's chronoing out. Showtime immediately responds with a fleet beacon of his own. Trying to find a catch here. He wants to maybe take a fight before Neeb... There's gonna be a window when the pulse crystals are completed where Neeb can outright win a fight. And he needs to... He knows Showtime scouted it. He saw that observer coming in. He had to. So, he's 10 seconds away. If he takes a fight seconds before, it could be a disaster. The Phoenix count, it does... Now, here's the thing. Once again, it doesn't matter. Neeb has to play perfect. Oh, 1 second on the clock. Okay, there we go. Phoenix range is done. There are shield batteries. He's kiting. He's untouchable. Oh, no! The Phoenixes get too close. He closes the distance. It's a disaster. Showtime just has more. Oh, no. You can't... If you let them get within that 2 range, well, then you're just having it out. All right. You got to use that length, and now it's too long. It's too late. That's really bad for Neeb. He's down in probes. He's now down in Phoenixes, but he has no choice but to keep making Phoenixes. It's that split second. If the Phoenixes get too close, they get within that extra range, and then suddenly they're all firing as well. So... It's... Even someone... It's almost impossible to use... Unless you have a mass... unless you have, like, 1 more Phoenix as well. I don't... But now... Neeb's just trying to make more Stargates than Showtime. But... Can he catch up in the Phoenix count? He's going for the +1 as well. Which can affect the fight. It's not a huge, dramatic one. It's not as big a deal as Phoenix range, but... They both have Phoenix range now. Showtime has scouted there are 4 Stargates here. He will escalate. Stargate command is online on both sides. Both players continue to build up their Phoenix count. Showtime just has more. And there are no shield batteries here for Neeb. There's a pylon to scout for Phoenixes. And they will. It's a numbers game. It's 14 to 18, 15 to 18. If he has a shield battery or a guardian shield... Oh, now think, this one observer has almost won the game for Showtime. It's given him all the information. He knows where the Phoenixes are. He knew Phoenix range was on the way. Chrono Boost coming through. Once again, the battle begins. Or is threatening. Just that. He can't deal with the observer. Showtime coming in. Tries to take a trade. Oh my god. Oh my god! It's terrible and beautiful at the same time. And who comes out on top? Wait. I'm not sure. Well, Showtime has noticeably more Phoenixes. Neeb just has less Phoenixes. That's it. He's gonna have +1, but that doesn't make up for having 4 or 5 less Phoenixes. Oh no. Neeb, he could get some of his reinforcements cut. Oh god, 1 Phoenix pops out. 1 Phoenix did not want to be part of that. Oh, here we go. But this could be the killing blow. There is no Guardian Shield. He used it in the last fight. He's trying to retreat, trying to let the Stalkers do their work. It's not enough. Neeb taps out. Well, this is how we're doing it. Okay. That's our build now. Jesus. That's peak StarCraft right there. You may not like it, but that's what peak StarCraft looks like. well, the decider. The deal breaker on Eastwatch by the Neeb. Is that? I think that's in range. That's fine. Will there be some sort of proxy, some sneaky gate, or are we taken to the skies on the wings of justice? Look at the little pixel things coming in. Looks pretty cool. Double gas. The classic opener here from both sides, walling off the front to give you an option to block against the depths. And it's a mirror match.
Your
Thank you.
dedication will be rewarded.
Royal Prospecting with the Bugatti sub. $25, 22 months. Give him some Bugattis in the chat. Some dirty esports money. Thank you very much. I'm glad you still enjoy it. So the reason, thank you Andy as well for 11 months. The reason Phoenix are so good at this level of play. I'm not saying in the gold or the plat or even the diamond league they are. Because they're incredibly mobile, for one. That means if you build a ground army to counter Phoenixes, it either can't move out from your base, or if it does, you're at risk of losing your mineral line. Interesting. He canceled the Stalker Sentry and went for the Double Adept. Probably because of what he scouted here. I'm not sure. And they can also... Thank you, Denon. 22. Another part of it is... What am I trying to say? Phoenixes can contribute... In low numbers of ground units, Phoenixes can just lift the ground units. They're also good at aggressive scouting. That means they can be in your opponent's base. If you see with your Phoenixes, your opponent is going for ground units, you can keep them in their base for a time with your Phoenixes, and then when they move out, you can already have defenses prepared. Like if you see they're going for a Robo and you're going Phoenixes, you could start making Void Rays instead. Or if you see they're going for a Twilight Council for Blink, you can get a Robo and go for Immortals. You have time to do that because the Phoenixes are always up in your grail. So now, it looks like Showtime is going to be going for the Stargate. Neeb has mixed it up. He's going for a Twilight. Is this going to be for Blink, or is he going to try Dark Templar? The shield battery at the front. But it looks like Neeb is going to do a Blink opener. So here is... We're going to show you why, or, well, at this level of play, this is Neeb going for a ground-based army to essentially counter Phoenixes. And it is Showtime going for opening with Phoenixes and trying to figure out whether he's dealing with a ground-based army. Because you don't have to, like, you don't just make 4 Phoenixes and then move out. You can move out. He's got a hallucinated Phoenix here. He's going to see 4. Oh, does he see the Nexus? He does. That's a lot of information. The hallucinated Phoenix gives him that information. He can't... And he's already going for the Robo. He knows there's a risk of Dark Templar. I like how Neeb just changing it up. He doesn't want to play the Stargate style at all. He's really trying to take... Because there's still a bit of hesitation here. There's still a time for the next couple minutes where Showtime doesn't 100% know, because he denied the scouting. Showtime doesn't 100% know that Neeb isn't going for Phoenixes. He knows he's expanded, but he doesn't know if he's going for Phoenixes or not. So Showtime can't move out. So Neeb taking full advantage of that and getting a 3rd at the gold. He knows eventually Showtime will realize, yeah, you're not building Phoenixes. And he'll stop, more than likely, with 5 or 6. The Phoenixes are still useful, but he will transition into a ground army in order to deal with that, more than likely. Wow, I'm beautiful scout. He's going to see Neeb taking that base. He's going to try to dart in. He's looking very closely to not get caught by Phoenixes. But the thing is, there are no Phoenixes to be found. Picks up a probe. There is Blink done. He shows it. Gets one. But now, let's see Showtime's reaction. He now knows this is a ground-based army. Immediate Twilight. So Neeb has this map control. He has less probes, but a gold base can help that out. But there are still 3 Phoenixes. He's anchored, essentially, to his base because of them. But it looks like Showtime going to stop with his 4. That's more than enough to pick up several probes. Showtime playing very safe. Neeb going straight for charge lots. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Templar Archives right this second. Neeb, don't make me a liar. One more gate. Templar Archives. Oh no, the sentries can get picked up as well. Kind of a waste. 4 probes go down. He's on the chase. He has Blink Stalkers, but he just can't catch them. They're too fast. And that Neeb is still down a few probes, but he does have the income because of the gold base. And he's really pushing that with all these gateways. In fact, Showtime doesn't even have a 3rd. If Neeb knew that, and he could. Ooh, he was hunting with this. Neeb actually in a very good spot here. He's up on supply. He's bleeding a few probes to the Phoenixes. Oh. There's just enough space. But right now, Neeb has the economy. He has the bases. He has the production. The one thing he's missing is a Templar Archives. For Archons. Archons are an amazing unit. If your opponent has a bunch of Archons and you don't, you're probably going to lose that fight. So right now, I'm wondering where... There we go. There's the Templar Archives. Is this Showtime? Is he just doing... Okay, I thought he was going to do a 2-base all-in, but he's decided to take the 3rd. That may just be a placeholder. Adepts shaded in. But Neeb has a large force, but not a game-ending force, and he's building a War Prism. Now, this is the problem. As soon as Neeb moves out of his base, 3, 4, 5 more probes go down. And that brings him back in a deficit. Neeb needs to go. Showtime is going on +2 attack. Neeb has not capitalized on the time he had with that gold base as an advantage. And the Phoenixes are starting to do better and better as time goes on. Also, Showtime's going to have the upgrades. He already has Archons. The only advantage Neeb has at this point is just brute force. He has more gates. Nope, he's even on gates. In fact, Neeb doesn't have an advantage. He might not attack at all. He might be thinking now it's too late. That's what the double forge kind of shows. So do we see a 4th base? So Showtime has been very patient. He took his 3rd base, I guess, late. But he got the upgrades. He got the army. He was constantly on top of the Phoenixes. Why no cannons against Phoenixes? Because the Phoenixes will get in, kill 3, 4 probes, get out, and the cannon might not even take down the shields of a single Phoenix in time. Oh, no. Oh, that's a big snipe. He needs that. It's completely worth it to lose 1 Phoenix to get that Prism. And now Neeb has no real aggressive potential besides an all-in attack. The thing is, it's +2 against +0. Neeb doesn't have any real advantages besides defensive position. The Archon count is 4-2. The Immortal count, 4-1. And Neeb is pretty heavy on the Blink Stalkers. Blink Stalkers do not do anything against this army. They get rolled is what happens. And the Phoenixes come in again. 5 kills, 3 kills, 9 kills. Almost all probes. 1-1 is almost done, but it's still 20 seconds out. Showtime's army is massive. And there's just not enough bulk to Neeb's army to block this out. 5 seconds away. 1-1 will kick in. The Guardian Shields. He picks up both Immortals. He tries to get them put back down, but the charge lock count is so high. Showtime just has too much. He's got him in a rough spot. He's trying to target down Archons. It's not going to happen. And Showtime just leveraging that map control for so long. Why do Zergs make Spores versus Phoenix? Because they also have Queens to add to the damage. And the Spores are more for the Oracles that could potentially come in. But Queens add damage as well, making it riskier to move in against Spore Crawlers. Also, there's the point that not a lot of Protoss players are making a Forge right off the bat in PvP. Like, why would you make a Forge? You don't... Cannons do not help you attack things, unless you make the Forge first. So,